Thanks. So the very first query on line number 1. Please go to line number 1. We are selecting employee ID, first name, last name, and salary from employees table. How many columns are we selecting? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4 columns. We are displaying it on screen. As you can see, employee ID, first name, last name, salary, and could you execute this first query, please? 107 records are supposed to come, and they did. Now, Shaki asked me a question yesterday that what do I need to do if I need to create a table with limited number of columns? So if we need limited number of columns, we'll select limited number of columns in first place from our select query, like on line number 1. Now we are going to write a create table statement in the beginning. Create table EMP, let's call it EMP 30. As select employee ID, first name, last name, salary from employees. Please execute. How do we check that the table is created? There is table created written on the bottom. Everybody is able to see that?
Yes.
Shaki, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I understand.
Great. What if you want to select everything from employees table? Star represents all or everything. So if we'll do select star from employees, we'll end up selecting everything from employees. What do we need to do if we need to create a table using that data? First of all, let's execute this select star from employees. What if we want to create the data with all these 11 columns and 107 records? We'll just say create table EMP14 as select star from employees. Create table EMP14 as select star from employees. And execute. Table created. What if we don't want to select everything? We don't want to select all 107 records. We just want to select the records corresponding to department ID equal to 30. What do we need to do in that case? We need to add a limiting condition. Where do we put a limiting condition? We put a limiting condition in where clause, where department ID equals 30. Let's execute this query. How many records do we have? You don't need to count the records, you just need to read the number of rows in the bottom. There are 6 records which were returned. If I will create a table using that table will be having 6 records. Let's create a table called EMP15. Create table EMP15 as select star from where department ID equal to 30. As we can see that the table got created. Now what if I don't want to select everything from employees table and I also want to limit my number of records? In that case, I will mention the column names in my select clause. On top of that, I will also mention my limiting condition, like in the next query. We are selecting employee ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID from employees table, and we are limiting it for department number 30. Only 6 records, not all the 11 columns, only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. Let's execute this query. You can do the counting. 6 records and
All
only 5 columns.
department ID 30 is coming up, right?
All department ID, all the records corresponding to department ID 30 are coming up because we have that in our where clause.
Yeah, and we are
It is our
indicate. Yes.
it is our limiting condition. Very well. Let's create a table called EMP16 from this. And this time I want one of you to tell me what to do. Good. What should we do in order to create a table called EMP16 using the select clause? Bilal, I would like you to answer this question. Okay, Kayam, would you like to answer this question?
Oh, okay. Unfortunately I was not present there before 5 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes. Okay, sorry.
Before 2 minutes, you are not present. Do you want me to repeat any of these queries for you, or all
No,
of
I
these?
understand.
Okay, then that's fine.
Yeah. What was the question?
The question is, what do I need to write on the top on line number 10 in order to create a table called EMP16 using this select clause?
Because
the
this
answer,
employee table number 13, employee table number 14, employee table number 15.
now we are going to create EMP16.
think-
What do I need to write?
Maybe
I need
create
to write
table.
create. Very good, very good. Now
As
it's
a
been
Create table employee 16 as select from employee table.
good. That answers my question.
Employee 16 as select star from employee table.
Now we are not selecting everything. We are just interested in this 6 column and these 6 records. So we'll use this select query as it is. Let's execute. How do we execute? Control enter.
Control enter.
Yeah, either control enter or F11. And there we go. The table got created. Let's see the contents of this table by doing a select star from EMP16.
Select star.
EMP16 and as is mandatory when I create a table.
Yes, as is mandatory. Create table name as, and then we will mention the selection. What you can do, Shaki, is first of all you can write the selection yourself, and then you can decide what table name you want to give to that particular data set. For example, we wrote the select query, and then we decided that we want to name this table as EMP16. That's why we did create table, and the table name would be EMP16 as the selection which is mentioned below. So it will exactly create the table in accordance with the selection that we have mentioned in front of it. What if I don't want to select any record, just the empty structure? Let's see that query. Scroll down now a little bit. In that case, we'll do where 1 equal to 2. Now, am I selecting all the columns from this? No, I'm just selecting 6 of the columns. Employee ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID. From employees, where 1 equal to 2. If I will execute this query, how many records I will get? Who will answer this question?
6.
The last query, which is mentioned on line number 17. If I will execute the query which is there on line number 17, how many records I'm going to get?
I'm not gonna get any reports.
Right. The number of columns will be 6, but the number of records will be 0. Let's execute this query. There we go. We got employee ID, first name, last name, salary, and department ID, but we did not get any record. So this is the trick we use whenever we need to just select the structure from table and not the data. Let's create a table called EMP17 here. There we go. Let's select star from EMP17. As expected, right?
Yes.
Now everyone is clear why we are using 1 equal to 2, how to select limited number of columns, how to limit the number of records in the selection.
Yeah, I have one question. This as means what do you mean? There is below.
It is yeah. Kaim, it is syntax. It is our syntax. We have to remember it and we have to follow it. For example, we cannot say that why New York is located at the near of Hudson River. It is like that. It is the way SQL is designed. So if you want to create a table using selection of anything else, we have to mention this as over there. It will specify that whatever is mentioned in the selection, create a table using that. Got it?
Yes.
Whatever is mentioned in my selection, use that result and create a table using that. So let's suppose I have a table called department and I just want to select the department ID from that table and I want to create a table called department 13. How will I do that? Create table department 13 as select department ID from department. Got it?
Only department ID, right?
Only department ID, because in the question I mentioned that I just want to select the department ID. So that's exactly what you need to do. Great. So everyone is clear with create table statements now. I'm missing Mohit in the class. Or why Mohit has not joined? Mohit, you there? No. Mehtab, you there?
Hi, Mr. Urban. Yes, I'm here.
Yeah, Mehtab. Mehtab, let me know if you have any questions.
Okay, thank you.
Although these topics are already covered with you, so you might not have any questions in first place. But feel free to ask if you have any.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Our next topic is, now we have learned how to create the tables. What if we already have the table and we want to insert some data inside that table? What if we already have a table called, let's suppose, EMP17, and we want to insert some data inside EMP17? Please write the topic insert statement. Navid, could you write the topic on the screen in comments? Insert statement. And guys, you as well. We'll follow this pattern. We'll discuss the basics today, and then we are going to discuss in details tomorrow. Just like we did with create table statement. The syntax of insert statement goes like this. Insert into. Now please keep on typing. Insert into. Then in square brackets, table name. Square brackets closed. Values. Normal brackets. Square brackets. List of columns. Yeah, call 1, call 2, call 3, and so on. Square brackets closed. Normal brackets closed. Yeah, go ahead if you want to write something else. Yep. No. Then square brackets open. In the end. Right. This is one of the syntax. And here we have to mention as many values, as many columns we have in the table. Suppose we have 6 columns in the table. In that case, we have to mention exact 6 values over here. And the data type of those values should match the data types of the columns in that table in the same order. What if we don't want to do that? What if we want to explicitly mention the list of columns and we just want to insert the data inside those columns and we want to keep rest of them as null? What do we need to do that? In that case, we need to mention the column names as well. So insert into table name. And then in normal brackets, I will mention the list of columns in which I want to insert the data. And then I will use values. And after values, I will mention the values itself. The values that I want to insert inside the columns. Who is Asif? What was the last table that we created? The last table was EMP17, right?
Yes.
Let's start from EMP17. Now suppose I want to insert one record inside EMP17. What are the columns do I have in EMP17? Employee ID, first name, last name, salary, and department ID. So I will write my insert statement like this. Insert into EMP17. Then bracket start. Employee ID, comma first name, comma last name, comma salary, comma department ID, bracket of values, department underscore ID. Please correct that. Values will be, let's suppose I want to insert 30, comma Naved. Observe one thing. Why am I mentioning Naved inside quotes? I want to, let's say, who has just joined. Okay, I put like Soat to answer this question. Soat, why am I mentioning Naved in quotes?
Because it's worker, that's why.
Correct, because it is a string. The correct response would be because it's a string. Whenever we want to insert data into char and varchar, we will always mention the data set in single quotes.
Okay.
Last name Akhtar. Naved is rich, so I'm gonna mention the salary as, let's say, $20,000. Okay. Richer. And department ID as, I want to mention the department ID as 10. All right, let's execute. So how do I know that I've mentioned Naved for the first name and Akhtar for the last name and 40,000 for salary? How would I know that I've mentioned these values corresponding to these attributes? by looking at the names in the bracket. Okay, we have to mention these values in the same sequence like they are mentioned in the brackets. What
Yeah,
if
third is the employee ID or department ID, which one?
you tell me?
Employee ID?
Correct, because employee ID is mentioned at the first, right?
Right.
That's why 30 corresponds to employee ID. And what is the department ID, Kayam?
Department ID 10.
Correct. Why? Because
It's the last one.
yes, very good. Just like the query says, department ID is mentioned in the end on the sixth place, right? One,
Right.
two, three, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the fifth place. So exactly, so department, we can see that department ID is exactly at the fifth place. What is the salary?
Salary 40,000.
Very good. Let's start from EMP 17 if that data is inserted. We can just execute the query on line number 27. That's fine. Yeah. The data is inserted. Now there are two kind of statements in SQL. One is DDL, called data definition language. One is DML, data manipulation language. Insert statement is an example of data manipulation language, DML. We'll talk about this topic later on. Right now we are going to focus on insert statement.
Manipulation, that means correction or amendment.
Correct. Manipulation means amendment or addition or subtraction.
Addition and subtraction. Yeah.
Manipulation means manipulation in any way. Either we want to delete any record, or we want to insert a value, or we want to update an existing value. So insert, update, and delete. These three statements in SQL are example of DMLs. But don't worry about that right now. We are going to discuss that in details. Okay.
Okay, I have one question. Do you install today the binary? Yeah, sorry, virtual machine in my computer. Your computer laptop is okay right now? No.
Sorry, Mr. Kayam, not today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But very soon it's gonna be here.
Okay. This is delivery from Nabada.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, Ubban.
Hi.
Hello.
Who's there? Is it
Ubban
Alam?
Asif.
Hey, Asif, long time. Where were
How's
you?
everything?
Great.
I have
Glad
been
to have you
hiding.
here. Good to have you here. Great. Now our batch is almost complete.
Okay.
Alam is here today. Mr. Alam.
Yes, sir. I was
No.
thinking you. I have a question
Of course, go ahead. Yeah.
for everybody and myself also. This question is that when we copy from one table to the another table.
We are going to discuss that in insert statement itself.
No. You already did initially, but for example, you want to do that, the existing table, if we have a primary key or any constraint or index or anything, so once we copy the new table, are they copying the all constraint also? Yes or no?
No, they are not copying the foreign key constants. They are just taking care of the unique key constants.
However, not even index also, correct?
Not indexes, nothing else. They will just copy if there is a primary key defined on the table, they will just copy that one. If there is a primary key defined on employee ID in employee table, if we'll create another table using that, it will just create the primary keys, nothing else.
Okay, I mean without constraint, correct?
Without indexes or constants, just the primary key. Just the primary key will come.
Thank you. That's all.
Yep. Navid, am I right? Okay, okay.
This is
Sorry.
actually
Hold on. Let him discuss. Oh, sorry. Let him say yes or no.
One, I'm not sure. I need to check actually.
That's fine. That's fine.
Actually, this is the interview question they asked me. I said no. It's only ID will go primary key, constraint, or index.
That's
Or
it.
if triggers
No,
we have in that table,
no.
should not
Indexes or indexes or triggers will also not go. Only the primary key will go. Actually, Alam, I have done this activity. That's why I'm answering this question on behalf of that. But we can check this thing. We can check this thing by creating a table on our database. And I will confirm on this question tomorrow. Okay.
Sure. Thanks.
But my take on this will be only the primary key will get copied. No foreign key, nothing else will get copied.
Yeah, today's finished, right?
No. We are just getting started, man. There's half an hour left. Okay. So 50% of the session is left. Are you already tired?
No, but
Please be with us. Do you have any questions?
no question.
All right, let's continue then. Now, how many columns did we had in EMP 17? Is there
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
how many columns? Yeah, not 5. We had 6 columns in EMP 17. Navid, could you do a select star from EMP 17?
It's a 5. 1, 2, 3.
Let him do a select star from EMP 17. Okay, 5 columns. Yeah, you're right. There are just 5 columns in EMP 17.
Yeah.
What if I don't want to mention the column names? What will happen in that case? Copy and paste the same query which is on line number 29 to line number 34. I don't want to mention the column names now. I just want to mention the values. Can I do that? Kaim, yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
What question?
The question is, I don't want to mention the column names now. I just want to mention the values. I just want to mention 13 Aves after 40,010. I don't want to mention the column names. Can I do that?
I think there is a way. Just you give the sequence maybe.
That is right. Yeah. I will call out the names and only those people will answer the question. This question is for
Okay.
Kaim. Can we do that?
Okay.
Yes.
Kaim said yes.
No, maybe not.
Yes.
So who is speaking?
Bilal.
Hey Bilal, yes, we can do that. Great. Let's remove the list of columns from there.
5.
Good. Let's execute this query. Let's make this, let's execute this query one more time. Good. One row inserted. That means we are able to do that. Now let's put 40,000 after 30. Execute. We will not be able to do it without taking care of the sequence of columns. If you want to do it, we have to take care of the sequence of column.
Yeah, that obvious.
Let me complete. No. Kaim, there is a way to not take care of sequence itself. We are going to discuss it. That's why I'm requesting you to let me complete. Let's what is the column name in which we intend to insert 40,000? We intend to insert 40,000 inside salary, but instead Oracle is trying to insert 40,000 in first name, and Oracle is also trying to insert Akhtar in salary, which is wrong because the data types do not match. Akhtar is a string it is either a char or a varchar, we cannot insert that value inside a column which is a number, and vice versa. So what do we need to do in order to resolve this? We have to mention the list of columns in correct sequence. Let's copy and paste the name of columns from above. In our values, we have mentioned 40,000 after employee ID itself. We intend to insert this 40,000 in salary. So we have to mention salary after employee ID. Very good. And first name, then last name, and then department ID. Now we are right. Kaim, are we right now?
Yes.
Swad, do you agree with me? Are we right now?
Yes.
Who else is there? Let me call out your names and wake you up. Mr. Siddiqui is Bilal. Bilal is already up. Alam is there. Who is Mehtab? Mehtab, do you agree with us? Hello?
Yes, it will work.
Very good. How about you, Shaki? Will it work?
Yes, it is.
Okay, great. So I've already asked Fuad. Asif, will it work? Asif?
I believe it will work.
All right. Yes, it will work. Thank you for the confidence, guys. Always trust your software. Execute this query.
Yes.
Very good. We have inserted this record one more time. How many records have we inserted in EMP 17 till now? 3 records. Let's execute the query. There we go. What if I don't want to insert the value of salary? I just want to insert the values employee ID, first name, last name, and department ID. I don't want to mention the salary.
Yes, yeah, I have
Copy and paste.
Salary.
Correct. You have to delete the salary from values itself, and you have to delete the correct. There goes our salary. There goes execute.
Yes, with that comes
Execute the select statement. There we go. In our last record, we don't have the salary. So it is the one we just inserted. That's how?
There is comes salary.
Where comes salary? Kaim, there is no salary in our last record because we intentionally removed it. So if we remove any value, it will come as empty or null. So what is the value of salary in our fourth record? Null. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, great. What if I just want to insert employee ID, first name and last name? And I want employee ID to be 40, first name to be Kayam, and last name to be Liton. How would I do that? I just want to insert employee ID, first name and last name. So every one of you, please write a query on your notebook. You don't need to answer this question. Just write it on your notebook. How will you write that insert statement? Employee ID 14, first name will be Kayam, last name would be Liton. How would you do that?
Only first name and last name, right?
Employee ID, first name and last name. Employee ID is 40, first name is Kayam, last name is Liton. Now you can write the solution on the screen. Guys, don't look on the screen, look on your notebooks. Then when we write the solution on the screen, check your solution with that.
By 13.
Not 30, Kayam 40. Our requirement is to insert employee ID 40 corresponding to Kayam Liton. The spelling of Kayam is
Q-U-A-Y-U-M.
Q-U-A-A-Y-U-M. The last name will be Liton. Very good. We don't need department ID. Look for the solution on your screen, guys. Let's execute this query, Navid. Let's see what do we have in our table. There we go. Everybody clear?
No.
Mhm.
How is come?
What? Kaim, do you have any question?
Yeah. Oh, just I insert this one, right? Oh.
Correct.
Oh.
We just inserted this and we left out salary and department ID. So what would be the value?
Yeah, now we want to insert the salary and employee ID in a kindly turn.
So now you cannot do that. You have to use a update statement for doing that.
Oh, for this update.
Yeah, and we have not discussed that topic yet, so we are going to discuss it. Don't worry about it. We have all these tables on the database now. Okay, we are going to discuss it in future. But right now, the values of salary and department ID corresponding to Kaim Liton are null. What if I would have inserted it one more time? 40 Kaim Liton, and then the salary is 30,000 and the department ID is 20. What would happen in that case? In that case, one more record will be created. One more record will be created. It will not edit the existing record. It will create one more record with the values of salary and department ID in that.
Value and salary ID.
With the value of salary?
With the value of salary and department ID. Let's write that query, Navid. Copy and paste the query on line number 40.
Yeah, this select and Control C, that is copy, right?
Yep. Control C, Control V.
Yeah, paste is Control.
Correct.
V.
So we have just added salary and department ID over there. The values are 40. Let's make it 30,000 now. You are the best earner. Yep. And now it is.
Yeah, I have only 5,000. I am very poor.
No problem, Kayam. We are talking in terms of Indian rupee. So let's make it department number 20. Department number 20, please. Thank you. Let's execute. So instead of updating that one, we'll end up creating one more record. Let's do a select star from EMP17 now. Now we commit these records. Now I want to create an empty table called EMP18, having the same structure as EMP17. Write a query for doing that in your notebooks. We are taking a 2-minute break. I'm going to be silent, and then Navid is going to write the solution on screen. I will not just repeat the question. Navid will type the question on screen as well. We want to create a table called EMP18 having same structure as EMP17, but no data. One minute, 40 seconds left. One minute, 20 seconds left. 1 minute left. Thirty seconds left. I hope everyone has done that. Whoever is clear. If not, now please write down the solution.
Create table employee.
No. Let him write. And then you can check your solution with what is written on the screen.
Yeah, can I speak the solution?
No. 1 minute over. Navid, you can write the solution on the screen now.
Yes. Select employee. So why 2 equal to 3?
Will 2 equal to 3 in any case? 2 will not be equal to 3, just like 1 will not be equal to 2 in any case, right? Those are different values. So that's why the result is always going to be false. That's why we are just selecting the structure, not the values. By the way, whoever wrote 1 equal to 2 is also correct.
Oh, right. Same thing. Yeah, 1 equal to 2 and 2 equal to 3, same thing.
Yeah, both of them will return false. 2 and 3 is also false, and sorry, 2 equal to 3 is also false, and 1 equal to 2 is also false. So ultimately, we will end up selecting nothing from EMP 17. So that's why we will end up creating EMP 18 having same structure as that of EMP 17, but no data. Have you executed this query, Navid? Yes, you did, I guess. No, you did not. Okay, let's start from EMP 18 now.
Let's start from EMP 18.
Hold on, guys. Somebody has a question.
Yeah.
Is it Bilal? Yeah, Bilal, go ahead. Bilal, you have to be a bit louder. Nobody is able to hear you.
Okay, what I'm saying, if it is possible, if I put where 2 equal to 2, does it make sense?
2 equal to 2 would be true. So in that case, it will select all the records.
Okay.
You need to put different values. That's when it would be evaluating to false. If you put 2 equal to 2 or 1 equal to 1, in that case, it would be true in every case. In that case, it would be selecting all the records from the selection. And that's not what we require in this problem statement.
It can be also 3 equal to 4, 4 equal to 5, right?
There you go. Now you got the concept. Very good.
One more question.
Mm-hmm.
That's not equal to 2.
Hold on, Bilal, a bit louder. Eat some almonds and cashew nuts, please.
Okay, so I see in the column, ID is repeating. So,
Bilal bhai, we cannot hearing you.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem, Bilal. Try to speak a bit louder by putting the phone closer to your mouth.
I think you can drop and reconnect again. That may work sometimes.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you. Yes. Yeah, go ahead. Ask your question. Everybody else, please be quiet.
Okay, what I'm saying, in employee ID, I see some ID is repeating. So
some ID else?
Some ID is repeating 30, 30, 40.
Right. If some ID is repeating, then?
So the ID, it can be repeatable.
If we don't have any unique key constraint or primary key constraint, it can be repeated. In order to avoid this repetition, we put primary key constraint and unique key constraint on the table.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Yep. So after selecting everything from EMP18, what are we going to see? We are going to see an empty table with 5 columns.
Yes.
Let's execute this selection.
From 17.
There we go. Now I just want to insert in this table the records where the first name is equal to Kayam.
Sorry?
I want to insert the records in this table for just the cases where first name is equal to Kayam from EMP17. So first of all, figure out a way to select those records having first name equal to Kayam. How will we do that? Select star from EMP17 where first name is equal to Kayam. Write this query now, please. Select star from EMP17 where first name is equal to Kayam. Kayam, check the spelling of your name. Is it correct? Q-U-A. Q-U-A. No. Q-U-A-Y-U-M.
Why?
Q-U-A-Y-U-M. There we go. Execute. Just 2 records. Now, in the table that we just created, we want to insert just these 2 records, not all the records. How will we do that? There goes our next syntax. Write down the topic. Inserting selective records from an existing table. Inserting selective records from an existing table to another existing table. To another existing table. So the syntax would be insert into table name 1, table name 1, select star from table name 2. What will be the limitation here? Both the tables
Where
are supposed
first
to
name is
have
okay.
both the tables are supposed to have same structure. If they don't have the same structure, we have to explicitly mention the column names in our selection to match the column names in our first table. Got it?
What, can you repeat this one?
Of course, I can repeat this one. But first tell me that what do I need to do in order to select just the columns corresponding to first name equal to Kayam. I need to execute the query on line number 56, right?
Line number 56.
Using the query on line number 56, we'll end up selecting the records corresponding to Kayam. Okay, Kayam is lost here. Can anyone help him? Bilal, what would be the output of line number 56?
The last name, first name.
Yeah. Only 2 records having first name equal to Kayam. So the records which are being displayed in the bottom, these 2 records, right?
Right.
Now we want to insert these 2 records from your table EMP17 into the table EMP18. We'll use the syntax that we have just mentioned. So the statement would be insert into EMP18, select star from EMP17, where first name equal to Kayam. Execute. Now, how many records are we going to have in EMP18?
2 records.
Very good. Very good. Let's copy and paste this statement on line number 62. And remove the where clause. Execute this query. How many records are we going to have in EMP18 now? Kaim, will you answer this question?
Null.
Nope.
Null.
How many records are we going to have in EMP18? You said null.
Yeah, no record. Yeah.
Fuad, how many records are we going to have in EMP18 now?
One record.
Fuad said one record. Okay, great. Who else? Who else is new? Mohit is not here.
I'm new.
Shaki, how many records are going to be there?
2 records.
Shaki said 2 records.
System 18.
Bilal, how many records are going to be there?
I think 2 records.
Bilal also said 2 records. Okay. Now it's time to understand this question one more time. There are 2 records corresponding to first name equal to Kayam, right?
Right.
On top of those 2 records, we inserted everything which was present in EMP17. And we know that in EMP17 there were 6 records. So 2 records were already present and we inserted 6 records on top of that. So what is 6 plus 2? It is 8. That's why there will be 8 records in EMP18 now. Execute this query now, please. There you go. Now, whoever gave me 2 or 3 or no records, tell me what is the problem. Bilal, you also answered 2. Why?
I was thinking about only Kayum, that's why. First name.
Okay.
I thought this was the copy from 17 to 18. That's why.
Yeah. This is not exact replica. Exact replica will be made when we'll create the table using that table. This time we are selecting the data and we are inserting that data into an existing table. We are selecting the data from an existing table and inserting the data into an existing table. The table which exists and is having data in that is EMP17. EMP17 is having 6 records. 2 records corresponding to Kayam and 4 records corresponding to Naved. If we'll do an insert into EMP18, select star from EMP17, we'll end up inserting 6 records from EMP17 to EMP18. Now we are inserting these records from EMP17 doesn't mean that those records will be gone from EMP17. They will also persist in EMP17, okay? So everyone is clear now that why there are 8 records in the EMP18, right? Everybody is clear?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah. Can I check how record is employee 17?
How many records are there in employee 17? Yes, you can check it. How will you check it? By doing a select star from EMP17.
17.
Yep, there you go. There are total 6 records. Okay guys, we'll continue our discussion on the same topic tomorrow. Maybe we'll go into a bit more details. Let me know if you have any questions or else we can end this meeting.
Actually, I saw before when you insert the data, 3 records on one time. So now with 3 records, you can insert the data is same time. But how it's possible?
We can insert the data.
3 data, same data. You can input the
because Shaki, there is no primary key right now. If there was a primary key, that primary key will restrict us to have the same employee ID 3 times. when there is a primary key or unique key, that will constrain us to insert only unique values. But there is no primary key right now. That's why we are able to do that. Does that answer your question, or you were asking something else?
You write down one time, but you insert the data is 3 times in your table.
Because we executed the same query 3 times.
Oh, yes, I understand.
Okay. All right. No, there is no such thing as magic.
Yeah, why is not conflict? Why is not conflict the same data? Why is not conflict?
What is not complete?
Because 3 data is the same figure, same ID, the first name, last name, salary, and employee ID. Why is that conflict?
Why there is no conflict? You mean to ask why there is no conflict, right?
Yeah, conflict. Yeah, right.
So for conflict to be there, we have to define a primary key on employee ID, or we have to define a constraint, and we can define a constraint using an index itself. We can create a unique index. Now we just type CUI and space CUI and space CUI. There we go. This is the syntax for creating a unique index. Create unique index name on, then the table name, and in brackets the column names. Erase it.
Parallel 8.
Don't get confused by that. So we are going to discuss these topics, that how to create constraints, what is the use of constraints, what is a primary key constraint or a function based constraint. We have not discussed this yet. But Shaki and Bilal, I have discussed this topic with you, so you should know, right?
Yes.
All right. Now let's erase this statement, line number 71. Thanks. Okay, guys. Any more questions? Anyone?
No, thank you.
I take that as no. And with that, have a nice day, have a good night.
Have a good night.
Yeah.
You too.
Have a good day.